going on, guys? Excuse me. Y'all pop on in, family. I know it's late. Yeah, I know it's late. I know it's in the middle of the night, but we here. I know it's late, and I know it is in the middle of the night, but we're here. Y'all hop on in, family. Wanted to start our own space. What's up, Nikki? What's up, D. Tubman? Wanted to start our own space. Did y'all catch the space I was just in with the Karens? Yeah, you know we had to do a follow up because the Karens were trying to censor. So we gotta, have our own space. Those Karens were really trying to censor the conversation. They were, for those who don't know, I was just in a space. I don't know who the women were, but there were these Karens, and they've had this hours long space about reparations, and they're really gatekeeping the room. Um, they're trying to be all stern, and they want to kind of get the last word, and they're letting people pop on stage with a bunch of bad faith arguments. And when you check the bad faith arguments, and they try to Karen you, they start wagging the finger. Well, now wait a minute, we're going to be respectful now. You can't, you got to wait your turn now. Yeah, all that old stuff. And I was going back and forth with a couple of the Karens because they kept slipping in lies, and I kept stopping the lies, and they get mad. Well, you're cutting me off, Tariq. This one Karen was up here talking about, well, this country wasn't built on race. I'm like, what? What? Yeah, this country wasn't built on race. The hell it wasn't. What are you talking about? Well, slavery really wasn't about race. Yeah, it was about race, man. That's not true. And she was saying stuff. They were like, well, we take offense to you saying that the blacks built America on their backs. That's offensive. What? Well, everybody built America. No, you didn't. That's not true. They were getting a little flustered because I wasn't going to sit there and let them lie. They kept trying to slip these weird lies in, talking about this country wasn't built on slavery. Everybody helped build. No, you didn't. No, and I kept letting them know we're going to speak truth to power. Then the one woman who was one of the hosts, who was the den mother, she was really trying to reprimand people, and then she started talking about, well, because I said, look, if you're part of the United States government, you inherit the debt you owe. That's what it is. Because we kept hearing these conversations about, well, my parents, they immigrated here after slavery. We talked about that at the Reparations March in DC. Just because your family immigrated here at a later time, you owe, because you're part of a government that owes. And you saw what was going on and you wanted to be a part of that. So you come and inherit that debt. That's how that works. And then there were people talking about, well, why don't you guys go after individual families? And it was the United States government as a whole, as an entire entity, that had us enslaved and legalized the slavery, and we couldn't get out of slavery because of the federal government. So it is the government that owes. We're making it real plain. We're not going to let them wiggle out of these bad faith conversations. I see a few people in here. Well, let's get Christo. Like, he was in the conversation. They kind of wiggled you out of there, Chris. I'm gonna get you in here. Well, let me get Chris in here because he was in the conversation. What's up, Chris? Chris, what's going on, man? Christopher the Warrior.
Hey man, so I just wanted to come in real quick because I just got done driving like 3.5 hours, so I'm kind of wiped. But I saw you in that space, and I know you did a long space with a gal I co-host with, Monica Matthews. I think you guys did a pretty long space, from my understanding, way back. I wasn't in that
Yeah.
because I had a bunch of claims I had to do. But first of all, I wanted to just tell you I appreciate you, because this is kind of like the first or second time I've heard you have a conversation and just in a very civil
Of
way
course.
produce your points. I'm not going to necessarily agree with 100% of what you say, or most people in here. Politically speaking, may or may not how they feel. I don't it's irrelevant to me. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican,
Right.
but and I think that's because I used to be a Democrat, and I grew up in the inner city, and I've just seen the failures that have taken place for 60 years under their rule, and so my question I had for you was a genuine question as it related to the trans aspect. The other question I wanted to ask you on a follow up, but you know, the nun was slapping wrists and
Yeah.
banning emojis and
Yeah.
who knows what the hell. I was
Yeah.
like,
Like,
what is going
yeah,
on?
if you put
And
an emoji up, she'd throw people out the room. It was some.
I don't even know what I've heard her in other spaces co-host. So when I was like, I know Phenom, and she has her beliefs. I just was like, I sent her a message. She sent me an apology message. It was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, hey, it's all good. Like, I asked her to bring me up because I was going to go to bed, but I saw you in the space and I wanted to ask you two questions. I got to ask you the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second one I wanted to ask you, um, I'm a claims adjuster. When I was in Florida, they had this, in my opinion, was an amazing program. It was a public-private partnership called the PACE program, and I don't know if you're familiar with the PACE program. Are you familiar with the? Have you heard of it
I'm not
before?
familiar with that. No.
Okay, so it started. Here's the deal: it started as it's in Florida. It was in Florida. I don't know if it's how much it's changed because like the big banking industry went after it like balls out after it, right? And the reason they went after it was because it was a public-private partnership with county assessors and collectors, and it actually provided loans to any house in those approved areas, meaning like if the county passed it, like let's just go ahead and say Lee County, Florida, or wherever, like fill in the blank, right? Um, any house in that county could get approved for it. And the thing I loved about it was that it did not require any income guidelines, like minimum income guidelines. It didn't have a minimum credit score, and it didn't even have a debt to income ratio. And I think you could probably understand why the big banks wanted to kill it.
Mhm.
It didn't have a debt to income ratio factor, and more importantly, it didn't even go on their personal credit. So what it actually did was it financed based on the equity of the house at like 5% to 6% interests, and it was like a 20-year note that you could pick like a 5, 10, 15, 20-year note, and of course, you know the smaller payments were the 20-year notes, but you could pay them off, if you're responsible, like any other loan, you pay it off in advance. You know what I mean? Um, and so, but the point is it went to fixing roofs, fixing siding, windows, HVAC systems. And so, as a claims adjuster, I loved it because I got to see people who were denied claims. I used to be a contractor before I was a claims
So
adjuster.
let me get
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
point down. So is this? Would you consider that like a form of reparations?
So I personally think one of the greatest wealth transfers. So first of all, let me just say, I agree with a lot of what you're saying about the
Hold
history
on.
of
I got that.
foundational Black
Let's wait.
Americans.
Let's wait because I just want to get clear about that PACE program because see
Hmm.
that's a problem. A lot of times people point to some of these programs. That's a lending program or a housing repair program. They're doing something like that in Illinois right now, where they're allocating resources for housing fixer uppers, stuff like that, and they're saying that it's reparations, and that's not reparations. We got to be very
No,
clear.
I don't think it's reparations.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
No. In fact, and I'll tell you my personal take on this. So what happened is I have brain cancer. I got terminal brain cancer. I wasn't supposed to live past November 2021,
Right.
right?
Right.
But when I came back from Florida, that's when I moved back to Missouri. That's when I had brain cancer. I had to go into brain surgery and stuff. So I couldn't drive, but I was going past all my old neighborhoods, my old neighborhood I grew up
Right.
in like every urban area, right by downtown, prime spot with all this gentrification and these liberals, that are updating the downtowns and stuff. Right, those properties are going to be worth a lot of money, and they're intentionally assessing them at really small amounts unjustly through redlining and other things, right? Like we I think we all would agree on, and so what when I found out that that was available in Missouri, in Kansas City and St. Louis in particular, um, you know, I was ecstatic, and I went all out to try to save it. The big banks killed it, by the way, but I went all out to save it because, for me, I think one of the given the history that we have in this country, Jim Crow and all those things, right? One of the last true major assets that the black community in particular, and also even some of the Latino communities have, are these prime locations to downtown, right, where they're all fixing up in all these major urban areas, and so what I saw, but one of the things I think you see all over the place are these houses that are beautiful that have just fallen apart and worn down because you can't. They're not going. Folks aren't going to get. The banks aren't going to give black or brown people a loan, to fix a $20,000 roof, right? And because they're going to have minimum income requirements and all these other things, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get approved for a whole host of reasons. I think we can agree on. And this program was a game changer. you know I had a lady who was a 90-year-old woman, um foundational black woman. Her son lived in her house with her grandson. The house had a roof leak. It caved in, but because of the age of the roof, the insurance company denied her.
Okay, okay.
Right.
So let me address some of this stuff. Thank you so much. I got to land this plane because he'll go on and on. But let me address some of that stuff. See, the thing is, it's not about the dilapidated housing because a lot of look, let's be very clear. Most foundational black Americans do not live in dilapidated housing. That's a myth. Most of us do not live in squalor. Let's be very, very clear. I'm gonna say this again, and I want people to. I didn't. The guy was going to be explaining. Let's be very clear. Most foundational Black Americans don't live in dilapidated settings. We don't. Foundational Black Americans are fundamentally very clean people. We're very clean people. We don't live in shacks, and you might find a hood rat here or there, or a dusty Negro here or there. No, no, no. But for the most part, our dwellings are going to be clean. Our clothes are going to be clean. The way we keep ourselves, we always keep ourselves up as foundational Black Americans. You go to your grandma's house, if she's a foundational Black American. I'm not talking about your grandma who might have been on crack or somebody. I'm talking about a real OG grandmother. Grandma kept the house impeccable. Grandma always used her little money to keep the house looking presentable. So we this whole thing about dilapidated dwellings that's going to depreciate in value. Look, there's black people out here who own nice homes, and the white supremacists are trying to finesse them out of their homes. I know black people who got beautiful brownstones out there in New York and Brooklyn in particular, and they're doing little slick stuff to try to finesse brothers and sisters out of those beautiful $1 million homes that has so much value. They do little tricks to us to try to finesse us out of our property because of our race. All right, let's not play these games. Let's not talk in circles. When we start owning property and those properties have value, all of a sudden we start getting nuisance abatement laws popping. Just like out here in LA, you have a lot of black businesses out here who get hit with nuisance ordinances. They'll send some fool out there to harass the building or commit a crime in front of the building, and I'm kind of going through that now, by the way. The minute we announced a museum, all of a sudden these random hostile people hopped up. Yet that's not random. That happens all the time out here. That's what went down with my brother Nipsey. All of the stuff going down at his shop, that wasn't random. When it comes to black people owning property and getting the equity from that property and the compounded resources from that property, the white supremacists come up with very devious ways to thwart that. All right. So this is why we're confronting the problem head on. I'm not doing that whole going through a loan program and then the program is going to be run by white people and they got to just no. Just give us our money directly. That's where we're going with it now. You see, we'll stop all of this talking in circles. How about this? Give foundational Black Americans our money directly, and then we'll make it do what it do. You ain't got to start no program No little loan or housing fixer upper give up. No, no. We're done with all that. Just give us that paper. We'll fix the house up ourselves with the money. How about that? You see, because see, like my man who just called up, he's a claims adjuster. See, when the so-called reparations goes through all of these programs, see, that's going to give white people a lot of jobs. So the white people are going to be the loan officer. The white people, they're going to be the assessor. The white person is going to be the clerk that approves it. So that gives them a lot of jobs too. So that everybody has to peel off what's supposed to be made for us. I ain't with them loan programs. Damn a loan. This ain't about no loan, because when we were enslaved, we weren't loaned, we were owned. So give us something that we own, our money. I don't want to loan nothing. Give us the money back. We generated money. It was foundational Black Americans, like I told them Karens, that built this country exclusively from scratch. Oh my God, why would you say that? Because it's true, Karen. Other people built it too. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Other people didn't build nothing. That's why y'all were over there in the slums of Europe. You didn't build anything. You came over here, you jumped on boats because y'all saw something that was built by foundational Black Americans and all of that wealth that was generated from our free labor that enriched this country. Point blank. Nothing else enriched this country except our free labor. Nothing else. And everybody came over to benefit off that. You didn't build it, you benefited from it. We're going to tell history correctly. You're not going to sit here and try to lie in real time. And that's what they were doing. They were trying to lie in real time, and I kept correcting them, and they kept getting flustered and frustrated. And then the one woman, the main host, she was like, well, my family came over here with wealth from Iran in 1985. Then I just hit her with, if y'all had all that wealth, how come y'all didn't use it to fix Iran? Oh my God. Well, she spit the baklava out of her mouth and just went off. Well, she was like, that is it. That's irrelevant. Well, she almost choked on the baklava. Oh, she got real testy with me. All right. Yeah. Well, why do you keep going on and on? Why do you why are you keeping the conversation going, Tariq? Yeah, I'm keeping it going because I'm not gonna let y'all sit here and lie. I'm not gonna sit here and let y'all lie with these bad faith ass arguments. Let's get brother Lance in here. Let's get Lance in here. Lance Houston. All right, what's up? Hold on. There you go. Brother Lance. Hop on, Lance. Where you at, Lance?
All right, right here. So yeah, I was calling to say that I actually agree with you. I was actually listening in on that conversation about, like I said, ended about 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I was listening in, and I agree with you that it was a very biased conversation. They didn't want to address your questions. They actually didn't even address the question about 1985 coming over here from Iran. Didn't want to address the question.
Right.
But what I want to say was this, and I don't know if you brought this up in that conversation, but I want to talk about the law. I want to talk about the 14th Amendment, and how, if she's able to come over in 1985, what's the mechanism by which she's able to come over here
Right.
in 1985 is the 14th Amendment. I don't know if you brought that up
I
or it was
didn't.
discussed.
I didn't bring it up. Yeah, but because they kept cutting me off. She kept muting me and trying to reprimand about it's her space and whoop de whoop and.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a very good point. See, when people talk about coming over here in '85 and all of these things, you were able to come over here and become a citizen specifically because of foundational Black Americans. That's another thing. I don't see, fam. Listen, FBA family, we got to start checking folks with history and facts. See, a lot of folks. This is why they try to rewrite history, because they want to rewrite history so bad. Well, I came over here in '85. I had nothing to do. Man, yes, look. The fact that you can come over here and become a citizen, that's specifically because of foundational Black Americans. It was foundational Black Americans on the grassroots that was pushing for the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. Look at people like William Nesbitt and people like that, Brother Octavio. Look up these names, these foundational Black Americans who actually died trying to implement the 14th Amendment, which they succeeded. That was a black grassroots effort. I want y'all to really understand that. So this is why we get offended when people like Akon come over here benefiting from the 14th Amendment that our people fought for, giving this person the right to come over here and live and eat and prosper. They come tell us that we need to get over slavery. And it was black people during slavery or right after slavery who was fighting to put the laws in place that gave you a lane. We're not going to do that. You're not going to disrespect none of our foundational black American ancestors when you're over here eating off their damn legacy. You understand? We got to check that stuff. Did y'all see the video of the Asian Jamaican woman, guys, that I put on my thing earlier? Did y'all see that? The Asian Jamaican woman. The woman is an Asian woman in Jamaica telling black Jamaicans that if you ain't over there, you ain't really Jamaican. The audacity. And now people want to cry foul, but we were warning y'all. We were telling people, hey man, y'all better watch these people coming over there appropriating your culture. That's going to go bad for you. And they were pointing the finger at us, telling us to shut up, nigga. If Adele and Chet Hanks want to indulge in our culture, you American nigga, shut up. Okay, all right, we'll shut up. We'll let you do you. We were trying to warn you. Y'all remember that whole Adele thing when Adele was walking around with the Jamaican bra on, with the bikini on, and we were like, "Hey man, hey Jamaicans, this is gonna go somewhere y'all don't want it to go." Oh, shut up, nigga, bumbaclot. There's nothing wrong with her wearing that. Oh, okay, all right, okay, all right. Y'all better listen to FBAs. We be trying to tell you. We ain't telling you out of hate. We're trying to pull your coat because we know how they get down. We stay abreast of how these folks get down. We know how they'll come in and swoop in and just take the culture and flip it and then kick you out of it. So we try to pull your coat and you tell us to shut up and get out your business. And then when the Asian woman tells you guys, hey, y'all need to go. This is an Asian woman in Jamaica showing all of her passports. Yeah, my mama is from here. Yeah. Jamaica is not an African nation, one people, whoop de whoop. And some of you blacks who ain't over here, you were born somewhere else, you come over here, you got to leave and go back to where you came from. I mean, she was talking bold, sounding like a full colonizer. You see? What's up, brother Richard? Richard Sudan. Shout out to my UK brother. You understand what I'm saying? So, folks, man, we better understand history and understand the game out there. Let's get Robin. Pop in, Robin. Let's get Robin in here. What's up, Robin? Robin, you want to turn your microphone on now?
I'm so sorry.
There you
I
go.
I haven't done this before.
Okay.
Hi, Tariq. I was in the other space with you. I don't know if you remember me.
No, I don't quite. There were so many of you in there, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, I never spoke,
Okay.
but I my family were slaves from Muhammad. Do you know who Muhammad was?
What, the Prophet Muhammad?
Yes,
Okay, so they were
yes,
slaves going back to the fourth century, the fifth century.
yes. We were slaves, and we escaped. Who
And now, how do you
was it?
trace your family back to the fifth century, ma'am?
Okay, I can trace it all the way back because we escaped from Mussolini. Do you know who that is?
Okay, so how does Mussolini and Muhammad all tie in, ma'am?
Well, because Muhammad took over all of Europe, you know that,
Where's your
and they
where's
ruled.
your family from, ma'am?
I'm from Europe.
What part? And
I'm Scandinavian.
okay,
I'm European and Italian.
okay.
So I am not white.
Oh,
Italians are not white.
oh, you're not okay.
No, Italians are not white people.
So you're Scandinavian and something else. What are you?
I'm
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian, European, German, and Italian.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so Italians are not white.
Oh,
You know
okay.
that, right?
Right. Got it.
Yeah, Italians are not white. You know what they call us, and I hate to tell you know, I heard you say the word, and I was appalled by it because I don't say this word. I heard you say the word "er," and I was never allowed to say that word.
Well, you just said it now, so you
What?
and
But
it rolled off your
I
tongue
was
pretty
only
easy, and it
I
and
was
it
only
rolled off your tongue
repeating.
pretty easily, ma'am. It rolled off your tongue.
But I was only saying it. I was repeating you because we don't say that.
Yes, you do.
We don't.
That rolled off your tongue too smooth, ma'am. So you can.
No, no, sir, no, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard it from you,
No, you've never
and
heard me. You've never heard me, ma'am,
I actually.
ma'am. You've never heard me use a word with a hard R like that. You've never heard me say that, ma'am. Ma'am, are you a white supremacist suspect? Miss Robin, turn your microphone on, ma'am.
So I actually drew my head back when you said that because I was like, no, he did not
Oh,
just say that.
yes, well, you drew your head back to eat a Rice Krispie treat because you're a white woman. That's what you drew your head back to do, ma'am. You are a white woman, a full blooded white woman, ma'am. That's what you did. Go ahead, turn your microphone on, ma'am.
No, sir, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not a full blooded white
Yes.
person, and I'm not prejudiced. And I love all my countrymen, and I love all races.
And you also love lasagna and you love tuna casseroles because you're a white woman. And there's nothing wrong with
Actually,
that.
I
And there's
don't.
nothing.
Actually, I don't because I ate too much of
Mhm.
it.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
But Italians are not white.
Well, you're classified as white. Yeah.
I am Sicilian.
Right. Well, ma'am, you said you're about 15 different races. So, um,
No, I said I am German,
mhm,
Italian, and I'm Dutch.
right. So, ma'am,
That's what I am.
so either, so,
Um,
ma'am, either,
would you give me a
ma'am,
chance?
either you're making up ethnicities or your mom was the biggest European hoe in the world. She was just going around banging different dudes all around Europe. If you got them many ethnicities in you,
That is not
ma'am,
true. Would you give me a
ma'am, how
chance?
do you have the many ethnicities?
Sir, would you give me a chance?
But, ma'am, okay, let's get to the point. So, how, ma'am,
I want to talk about the
that's what I want to
reparations.
talk about. So, how do you feel about reparations?
Thank
Let's get
you.
on to
And I don't have a problem with them.
got it. Okay.
And that's why I came in here. Um, I totally agree with you on a lot of your points that you
Right.
made. And therefore I'm not here to disagree with you or argue with anyone.
Right. So you agree with
Um,
you agree that we should get reparations, right?
I
Good.
do.
Good.
I
Good.
do.
Good.
And I think I should get
For what?
reparations from Muhammad, but he's no longer here.
Right. And
Muhammad is no longer here.
Muhammad didn't
So
do
I
anything.
can't get
Well,
reparations.
Muhammad didn't do
Huh?
Muhammad, but you can't trace anything back to Muhammad. And if you wanted to get something from Muhammad, what government is being influenced that's still around Muhammad's time? What government is still around?
It would be Europe.
Europe
It
is
would
not
be Europe.
it's a continent. It's not a government.
Right. But at the time, he was over Europe.
Not really,
And,
not really. But yeah, he
huh?
wasn't over Europe. So,
Yeah, he
so
was. He conquered Constantinople, which was Europe.
Lord,
And, huh?
ma'am. Um, so
He conquered Constantinople, which was Europe.
so what you're
And
saying, you want to get a part, you want to get some reparations too. If black people get it, you want to get some too, right?
no, sir. What I'm
You've already got
saying is
reparations,
I
though.
want to get reparations from Europe,
You,
where I came from, because my family were slaves
and you got
also.
reparations. It's called Jim Crow. Jim Crow was reparations for white people like yourself. So you received yours, ma'am.
Oh, I don't know anything about Jim
Oh,
Crow.
yes,
I
yeah,
apologize.
yes, you do.
No, sir, I
Yes, you
don't.
do.
I've never read the
It's
book.
not a book. It was
Um,
a common law policy in this country, ma'am. It wasn't a, yes,
seriously?
ma'am. Yes, it was.
Can you explain it to me?
Yeah. Whites only signs, white only jobs, white only neighborhoods. That was reparations for you.
Oh, I wasn't born
Oh,
then.
ma'am, you sound at least 60 years old. You were definitely born during Jim Crow, ma'am.
I was born in
And
1964.
54?
64.
64. Okay. It sounds like 54. But yeah, in
No, I was born in
64, there
64.
was yeah,
So I was born during the fight over
right.
Vietnam.
And in 64, there was still a little Jim Crow thing going on. There was still some stuff going on around.
But I was a baby. That's not
Yeah, your
fair.
parents were benefiting from the Jim Crow, and they were passing down those benefits to you as a baby, ma'am. So you benefited from that.
No, I was never to say the N word. I was never allowed to say the N word. Ever, ever,
You just
ever.
said it. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. And
I said it because I was
right.
repeating
No,
you.
no. And let me ask you this: when you were in college in the 80s, late 80s, did you date
Yes,
black
sir.
guys in college?
I did.
I can tell. I can tell.
How can
I,
you
I
tell
can tell.
that?
I just know. So
Oh,
how did
come
your family
on. Don't do that to
how did your
me.
family feel about you dating the black guys in college?
Had no problem
Did your
whatsoever. We were from the north. We were from the north.
okay.
Had no problem whatsoever.
Okay. So do you think that your vagina was reparations to those black men?
Absolutely not.
I think you think that your vagina was a form of reparations to those brothers. And
Absolutely
by
not.
proxy, you think that we should be happy as black. That's what it's.
No, absolutely not.
You,
That's not fair. I wouldn't do that to them or
uh-huh.
myself.
Okay.
That's so wrong for you to
I'm just
say.
saying. So those brothers that you were laying up with, do you think they should get cash reparations?
I think that they should um the men that I dated were very how can I put it? Um they were very they were people that wanted to go out there and do for themselves.
No, they wanted to go out there and do. What does that mean?
And I encouraged them to make the best of their lives if they could.
So they wanted to go out there.
And you know what? They did. I'm still friends with all of them, and they have been very successful in their endeavors. And um, I'm so I don't know where you're going with
I'm
this.
listening to you. I don't know where you're going with it. You're talking about.
Well, they've been very successful in their endeavors. I
Good.
don't know any black man that I dated that hasn't been successful in what they wanted to go after.
So your white vagina made was the key to their success. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not. Their brain
There you
was.
go. Okay. All right. So are you married now, ma'am? Too? You probably
No, I am
okay.
not.
Did you was your ex husband a white man?
My last ex husband was
Okay, he's
Hispanic.
white man. White man. Okay. So
No, he is not white. He's Hispanic.
from where? Okay,
Mexico.
that's what Mexican. A lot of Mexicans classify themselves as white, just like you.
Oh, well, he didn't.
There
Trust
you
me.
go. Uh, Okay,
He did not.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate you.
I appreciate
Uh,
you.
uh,
I
all right,
just
nothing. There you go. Lord. Yeah, you can always tell those types. Yeah, they. Let me tell you something. These Karens who always saying something slick about reparations and always slipping the N word in here or there. Let me tell you something. Back in their day, back in college, they were bouncing on soul poles left and right. I'm telling y'all. And I'm telling my young people, I'm giving my young people game, and I was bringing that up for a reason, so my young people will know. See, my young brothers who are in college now, you see all the white girls that's all choosing up on you heavy. Where my young brothers in college right now, or who's in high school and college? Raise your hand. I know it's very late. Some of y'all should be in bed getting ready for school. Where are my young brothers who are in college right now? You know, the little white girls choosing up on you, all in your face, coming up to your dorm. You dig? Doing some sneaky and freaky. You dig? You think you the on top of the world because she's choosing heavy. Let me tell you something. In 20 years, she's gonna be a Karen. All right. In 20 years, they're gonna be somewhere trying to block your reparations. Yeah. You better understand they be sounding just like that. Don't trip. You thinking you tearing that pussy up and you gonna get her mind right. She get off that bed and be like, no, nigga, no reparations for you. This pussy was reparations. Because that's what they be thinking. They think their vagina is a form of reparations. Hey, I done banged a couple of Negroes. I got black friends, meaning I done laid up with it. When they say that, I got black friends, meaning I laid up with a couple of niggas. Yeah. And they think really that that's a form of reparations. Why should I give money? I gave up some of this valuable white vajayjay to some Negroes back in the 80s. That was reparations. That was more valuable than 500K. And to a Sambo, they think that's, a Sambo, they think it's true. Some of these Sambos, they lay up with a white woman, and these would be the first ones fighting against reparations. They be out here yelling at us. Why y'all talking about some reparation? These white people ain't did nothing to y'all. You dig? Ain't you tell them, Darnell. That's what I said. Y'all out here making all this fuss, listening to that damn Tariq Nasheed, that grifting ass nigga, talking about some reparations. What y'all need to do is get on out here and start working hard, value the Lord, and leave these good white peoples alone. That's a nigga who got some white coochie reparations. Yeah? Y'all better understand how white coochie reparations is real. Notice a lot of these Karens who be talking and they talk against reparations or they say something slick about it because they didn't gave coochie reparations already. That's I want y'all to understand the code. They didn't gave some coochie reparation to some brothers. So they think the debt is paid. No, it's not paid. Pull your panties back up, ma'am. I'm good. I don't want that. We want that cash, not the ass. Yeah. I want all cash. No ass. I don't want that ass. Gives me my money. But I let some Negroes run a train on me in college. That don't mean nothing. Just like that white woman cop who uh, um, who had all them dudes running up in her. You see? They think they doing something. They think they're doing something for the community by doing that shit. I'm telling y'all, man, they really think that that's a form of reparations. Them laying up with niggas. They think that's something that, by proxy, they're. Look, we're all in the same game. I'm doing this for you. Don't you get ain't this what you really want? When you get the money, you gonna want this anyway. So let me just give it to you instead of the money. No, no, thank you. No, stank you, ma'am. No, stank you at all. Lord. Now let me get some more people in here. Let me get Indivite. I think that's your name. Indivite. Oh,
Hello, my brother.
what's up, brother? How are you, sir? Oh, Indivite.
Hello.
Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay. The flags. Where you from? Let me guess. Let me guess. Hold on. Is this? I'm trying to look at these flags. Is that Senegal?
No, brother, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Okay. How the hell did I not know that? And I've been to Zimbabwe. All right. So what's on your mind,
I
brother? How?
know.
I know.
Yes, I totally agree with the reparations that need to happen. Even from us in Africa, we need to get our reparations. One
Yes.
thing I need to say, India's game is on point. They have calculated their reparations to 45 trillion. And in Africa, being a four times continent than India, we are due reparations of up to even 150 trillion because of what happened, the ripping of cultures, taking of lands, taking of gold, taking our people from the motherland to out into the diasporas and stuff like that. We
Mhm.
have been ripped so much, and I believe that the reparations we are due. Your side, you are due. You need your reparations from your
Yes,
side, and we are going to claim our reparations in Africa from the former colonial countries, the Dutch, the British, all these countries. So
yes,
do not listen to the naysayers. Keep marching, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, my brother.
my brother. I appreciate you. So that's the kind of African brother that I like rocking with. They're talking truth to power. My brother Mikhail, they're trying to put some stuff together for me to go out there and do a lecture at a school in South Africa where we'll be talking about how the brothers and sisters over there need to get the reparations popping too. I wholeheartedly agree. And if y'all want to get your reparations from the colonial powers, I'm right there with you. That's probably why they don't let me in Europe. Well, not Europe, but they don't let me over in the UK no more. Because when I go back to the UK, I want to let brothers and sisters know, hey man, the Windward generation, y'all were the ones who helped build the UK back up after World War II. So they're gonna have to start breaking bread for y'all too. Yeah, it's real out here. We're not playing. All right, let's get MF Kush in here. MF Kush. Let's get MF Kush in the house.
Hello, Tariq. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on, MF Kush?
I'm good. Shout out. Thank you for letting me upstage, by the way. So I was also in that space, and I saw how all these white feminists felt the need to try to use their femininity or lack of femininity to try to direct a conversation in a certain way, and honestly try to deflect and
Yeah.
and took lack of accountability. The fact of the matter is this: if we were never here, they would have never had what the fuck they have now. That's just a
Right.
fact.
Real talk.
Um, one more thing, and I'm sorry, and that's another tactic. So what Robin just did, Robin just came up here and tried to basically sympathize. That is not a great thing. It's not working. Just because you went through your shit is not the same thing that we went through. It'll never be the same. She could never relate to what it is. And far as I'm concerned, she could suck as much blood dick as she wants to. That does not mean that she is one of us. And I land. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, beloved. All right. All right. That's what it is. That is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, by the way, guys, we're having the FBA Expo in Dallas, the FBA Expo in Dallas, May 27th. So y'all need to get your tickets at FBAexpo.com. FBAexpo.com is going to be a phenomenal event. The vendors, y'all need to sign up. It's going to be phenomenal. Y'all need to get involved. FBAexpo.com, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a couple more people. We'll try to get some new faces in here. A lot of folks that we have not chopped it up with before. I want to talk to some new folks. Let's see, C Roy X. It's C Roy X in here. C Roy X. Boy, it's 1 o'clock out here. What's up, C Roy? C Roy X. Turn your microphone on, man. All right.
Oh, mic is on. Mic is on.
There you go.
Like,
What's up, brother?
yo, what's up, my brothers?
So what's on your mind?
Man, I saw your feed regarding that China woman in Jamaica.
Yes.
Bruh, you done boil my blood. All right? Because this woman, all right, that I talk about, she passport her grandfather in the 1900s. Now, I had to go do some research. Yeah? As we know, the UK, right, done like snatch up whole heap of the so-called planet, 3% of the earth, yeah?
Yeah.
And they took Hong Kong in the 1800s, in the mid to early 1800s, and annexed Hong Kong. Now, I was trying to do the maths regarding this woman. Yeah, and what she was saying, and what she don't realize is this: there's enough of we Jamaicans all over this planet, you know. Right? I'm here in Asia. Yeah, I've got family in Jamaica, still in Jamaica. I've got family in America too, and in Europe. So we spread out on four corners of the globe.
Hmm.
And to hear this woman talking, berating us, talking about if we are not in Jamaica, we are not Jamaicans. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
kind of boiled my blood
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm thinking, well, wait a second. Your country got annexed by the British, so that means nothing you done left China, yeah, and go run to the America, go run a Europe, yeah, and a Africa, yeah. I run what them call them again, sweatshop, you know what I mean, laundry and China shop, yeah,
Yeah.
Chinatown.
Yes,
You all
indeed.
make your money, yeah, but then you got the audacity to be calling us out, saying that black people are not the original people of Jamaica when the population of descendants from the sub-Saharan African, yeah, was 76%.
Yes, indeed. Let me land your plane there, brother. It was going to go on and on, but I get your point. Very good point, brother. See, that stuff has to be checked early. That's what we're saying. That stuff, because we were trying to warn people, hey, man, y'all don't let folks come over there and try to appropriate your culture, man. You better watch out for that. And a lot of y'all were like, hey, man, y'all mind your business, Bumbaclot. All right, okay, all right. And now, 'cause we know how they get. This is why with the reparations conversation, we're not letting all of these other people slip their little old bullshit in there. Well, I was a slave too. No. My great grandfather was a slave in Croatia, so I'm a descendant of slaves too. No. Well, I done had a little black cock here or there. No. We're not doing that. No. That none of that counts. We're not playing none of those games. We're not playing none of those Robin games. Eh, we ain't playing that. We're not letting you slip in. None of that stuff. You're not going to slip in the back door. You're not going to slip in the side door. You're not going to slip in the bedroom. We're saying no. We're talking about reparations only for foundational black Americans. That's it. Anybody else included, it ain't reparations. That's what it is, guys. We have to shut it down immediately. When we start talking about reparations, and the minute any penny goes to anybody who's not a foundational black American, it is nullified as reparations. It's another program. Yeah, we'll take that, but it ain't reparations. So you still owe reparations. We got to shut it down. One penny goes to any other non FBA, it is not reparations. Don't let them remix it. Don't let them call stuff reparations. That's not really reparations. Call it out. Reparations is only tangible cash benefits for foundational black Americans only when we're talking about reparations for slavery, because that's what we're going for. We're talking about a debt and a specific deed that was done over a specific amount of time to a specific group of people by a specific government. We're very specific. We're not going to let them remix it and make everything vague. Talking about, well, there's slavery in Libya. They were saying that in the other room. I'm like, I don't give a damn about no Libya. I don't live in Libya. That ain't got nothing to do with me or our reparations claim. Well, there's slavery over in Bahrain. Who gives a damn? Let them handle it. We're talking about us dealing with this government here. We ain't playing all of that look over there in the banana in the tailpipe game. We ain't playing smoke screen games. They love doing that. Deflection. No, it's time to break bread. We ain't going for that. It's money time. Well, you guys sound hostile. They started getting into, I mean, they were getting into Karen mode. Well, saying that you're going to pay, that's hostile. I'm afraid when you talk like that, that's very hostile and divisive. Oh, they were doing the Karen routine, major. And when one of the white women was like, well, That's not chivalrous by talking over me. That's not chivalrous. Okay, now we're getting in there. She's about to get into some feminist stuff. Because now that's leaking into rapey talk right there. Okay, you're talking over me as a form of Negro rape. It's like raping me. They were about to pull out all the Karen stops. See, that's why we got to get our reparations, because we live under the thumb of this "I'm white and I say so" narrative that you can have us punished based on your insincere words. See, that's another problem. You see, that's why we got to get our paper. We got to get our chips. We got to get what's owed to us. And some of the conversations they were trying to say, well, generational wealth disappears over time. And no, the hell it doesn't. Generational wealth does not disappear, it compounds. Generational wealth increases. And they kept sitting up here talking about playing the denial game. I don't get any generational wealth as a white person. The hell you don't. The white middle class was created right after World War II, when them giving all of them housing loans and creating them all white suburbs that black people couldn't go to. Those houses still exist. The neighborhoods still exist. The hell are you talking about? And the houses increase in value, and the value of those homes are trickled down to these families. All the benefits that were given to them based on whiteness, it trickles down. It didn't disappear. The Homestead Act, all of this free land that all these people got that black people couldn't get after the 1800s. They still own that land. Some economist says like a fourth of white people in America are still living on that free Homestead Act land. All them big acres of farms and stuff that's all in the Midwest and the west of the Mississippi, especially out here in Nevada, Arizona, all these large tracts of land that was given free, and they just generationally passed that down. Don't let these people make it seem like they didn't get no generational wealth. The hell they didn't. From the affirmative action program called Jim Crow. Jim Crow was affirmative action. That was reparations for nothing. You were just getting benefits for nothing, just for being white. And whiteness has a monetary value. I've always said this. Whiteness itself has a monetary value. I don't want to hear about all that. My dad came over from on Ellis Island, and boy, he had $5. He had $1 million worth of whiteness. Let's stop it. He came over here because he knew that whiteness was going to go a long way. See, we have to frame it in that narrative. Let me get one more person in here because it's late. I didn't know it was this late. It is late. Let's get Sean in here. Let's get Sean in here. What's up, Sean? Hop on, bro. Where you at, Sean? You turn your microphone on. That would be superb. Where you at, Sean? Okay. Well, let me do this while we're waiting on Sean. Let's get Valerie, because Valerie. Looking at Valerie's profile, Valerie's a feminist. Valerie,
This is Sean John from Phoenix. I just don't understand why it has to be such like an argument or debate about it. It was already determined by the government that we were supposed to get reparations. I mean, whatever happened to the 40 acres and a mule.
ooh,
So like all these people now, like, oh, with all the pushback, we're just moving forward. It
right,
just never happened before Reconstruction and Jim Crow because they ain't shit. But like all this back and forth, it was already determined. We just getting it.
right. Yes,
That's my plan.
thank you, dear. Let's Valerie, hop on, ma'am. Valerie, want to turn your microphone on, ma'am? Valerie, let's unmute yourself if you are ready to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Valerie. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm calling from London.
Oh, there you go.
And listen to you. I just there are 2 points I want to make. One is that I really admire the fact that United States has led its area of reparation, and it knows precisely what the cutoff point is and who will receive reparation. I
Mm-hmm.
really admire that because when you look at the diaspora trails around the world for enslaved Africans, just briefly, remember that Africans also were a part of enslaving other Africans. They were a big part of the enslavement of Africans. But
Mm-hmm.
once those Africans got on those ships, those slave ships, and were transported out of Africa, the continent of Africa, and deposited all over the world, slavery starts from the point of where they were sold and transported either to the Caribbean or United States or Canada or even Brazil, South America. Slavery starts when they were enslaved in those countries by those governments under their laws. That's where slavery starts. Slavery is not about the 1960s. Slavery is not about the Windrush generation. Slavery is about enslaved Africans who left the continent of Africa. Now, what happened between the British and African nations is another form of reparation, but we should not be convoluting every jurisdiction's slavery. We should not be convoluting what slavery is, reparation is for the British when they enslaved Africans in the Caribbean for to build the wealth of Britain. We should not convolute it with slavery in the United States, where they were cotton pickers who built the wealth of whites in the United States. We cannot convolute it with Brazil, which happened with either.
Portugal
It has to be the Spaniards
and
because they
and
or the
Portugal.
Portuguese or one of the two. I'm not familiar with their root of slavery, so I cannot comment on it. In all fairness, but we should not be, and we should not convolute it with Africa. The slavery that took place in Africa is another jurisdiction, and this. I get the impression that some people feel this is just one big melting pot, that, there's one big pot and everybody's going to have get out of it. No, it's not. It's not going to be, it's going to be a hard toll to get reparations, a hard toll, because even now that we have always known that the British royal family absolutely built its wealth off slavery. We know from the royal charters that was law.
Thank you so much. I had to land your plane. So I got to get a couple of more people in here, but thank you so much, beloved. We're just kind of changing subjects back and forth. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, ma'am. All right, let me get should I get one more? Because sometimes people get a little long winded. Let's get the parlay. Let's get parlay in here. Parlay, hop on parlay. Waiting on parlay to hop in.
Hello.
What's up,
Hi,
parlay?
Tariq. I just wanted to make a quick few statements. I agree with reparations. I feel like we should all receive payment for the things that have happened. But I feel like the
Mhm.
excuses people use against reparations is just to justify their anti-Black racism, because we know
Of
that
course,
every other group in this country has received some form of payments for any type of mistreatment they've received, whether it's for their ethnic group, their sexual orientation. Everybody else has received some form of payment. And every excuse they come up with for why we shouldn't receive reparations when we've been mistreated the absolute worst out of everybody is just insane to me. And there isn't a good excuse for any reasoning that they have. So I just feel like we have to be consistent with the fight. I like everything that we've been doing, the reparation rally, the movies you've been putting out. I just like that we've all been vocal and being on code. And I appreciate what everybody has been doing. Don't listen to the excuses. They just hate us. That's just what it is. We're on our
Real
own,
talk.
and that's fine. That's all I want to say.
There you go. Thank you, beloved. All right, well, we'll end on that note. That was a good call. But anyway, man, look, I think the conversation was constructive. I'm gonna post the conversation I had with the Karens. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. I'll post that in a minute. So y'all follow me on YouTube at Tariq Radio. That's my YouTube channel. Everybody subscribe to the YouTube channel, Tariq Radio. And go to FBAstream.com and sign up for the FBA Stream. That's our streaming website. All of our movies are on there. Buck Breaking, Hidden Colors 1 through 5, 1804, the Crispy Puppet episodes, the Bucci Bear cartoons, some of my lectures, and the new movie, American Maroon, will be on there next month, ladies and gentlemen. So sign up for FBA Stream now.